Alright, I'm going to tell you all about RollerCoaster Tycoon speedrunning. The title's kind of misleading because only I would do this. Many ask, how do you even speedrun RollerCoaster Tycoon? Wouldn't everyone finish at the same time? First of all, they wouldn't, but we'll come back to that. You stop the clock when you reach the objective. Usually. We'll come back to that. Open up the first scenario, Forest Frontiers, and get your ads going. That'll give you 97% of the maximum guest generation probability, of which 2/3 comes from ads and 1/3 comes from park rating. You'll be at 100% when you hit 850 park rating. 12 more swinging ships will get you there. Now there's nothing else you can do to get guests faster. That's not to say anything you did so far mattered. Your speed is 1% as important as the game's random number generator. The fastest player would fail to beat the world record by 30 seconds or more over and over and over again. And if you didn't get your fill in Forest Frontiers, there's almost 100 more scenarios where you take out ads and wait, only longer. Forest Frontiers' appropriately unbeatable record is too recent to have discouraged all these people from continuing on. I have a theory that RollerCoaster Tycoon speedrunning isn't fun at all and just sucks. It's like going to a casino to win a jackpot, only instead of money, your prize is that 10 people will care. Ever. But Forest Frontiers is not my story. One day, the world's only professional RollerCoaster Tycoon player, Marcel Voss, urged his community to try speedrunning. I thought someone should humor him. Why should that person have been me? Well, in my original playthrough, I wanted to beat scenarios like Volcania without dealing with guests. Naturally, that's more efficient, so I thought, I'm already most of the way there. Oh boy. Copying what I did before was enough to get the record, but to beat Volcania, you have to test each coaster, which means they have to finish the full circuit and then get their excitement rating. Then the scenario completion window can pop up. I noticed the time between the last coaster finishing and the window popping up varied randomly by almost 30 seconds, and that is bullshit. So I went to the forum to tell them what's up. My solution was simple. Stop the clock upon the player's last action. That way, we'd be measuring the player's speed and not some other crap. Enter this man, whom I knew as the guy who would take Marcel's strategies and execute them faster to swipe the world records from him, though that may be an unfair characterization. The hill he was ready to die on was that it was reasonable to assume I meant players wouldn't have to show they completed the scenario, like 10 4,000-foot long coasters with 7 excitement. Bam! Another world record! I could go on for an hour about shoving insane assumptions into conversations. Online decorum can feel oppressive these days. There's solace in the fact that I got away with this post. But not this one? The next objection was that we should keep using the completion pop-up because it's part of the game. You mean like exactly how it doesn't work in any other type of scenario? It could, pay off your loan, disable research, and let the game run. Now it's a contest to see who can wait the longest before starting and still win. You would have to beat the scenario and not just play it, if that wasn't clear. I know, it's confusing. The world's only professional RCT player, Marcel Voss, joined in, and they liked each other's posts, and a mod liked them, and nobody liked mine. I was at a disadvantage, and the disadvantage was that they knew something about how the game worked, and I didn't. But if you're going to appoint yourself arbiter, you ought to know everything. It took some work to decipher Marcel's lesson, but it's like this. The ride rating fairy goes around visiting each ride one at a time. He starts with your firstborn, RollerCoaster 1, and goes all the way around it. He gives it excitement, intensity, and nausea, and then poofs over to RollerCoaster 2. After his last stop, he lays down and takes a nap for 6.5 seconds. Then he starts all over again. This whole time, the scenario completion checker bunny has been visiting each morning to see if the excitement ratings are high enough. If they're not, he leaves. If they are, he dies and becomes your completion window. See? It's not random at all. Or is it? The fairy's on a different schedule each game. It needs to give you what you want right before the bunny arrives, and you need to keep redoing the scenario until it lines up just right. And okay, the bunny isn't random, but that has a big repercussion. Times can only improve in 14-second increments. So, I decided to punish the community for being stupid by setting unbeatable records and killing off the whole category. Someone could easily build a couple seconds faster than I did, but good luck doing it 14 seconds faster. The main result was I wasted my own time conducting experiments and speedrunning. By the way, I also set records for the 10 coaster scenarios since I made that video about them. Build 10 coasters ends up being the second dumbest category since it generally consists of placing the 10th coaster type after waiting 20 minutes for R&D to give it to you. Now, if you saw a three-way tie at the top of the page, wouldn't that piss you off? Wouldn't they look silly if someone came along and did it faster? Park value speedruns are pretty simple. You find the ride that gives the most park value and build that. The park value updates every so often, and 38 seconds was a popular time because that's when the game has its third park value update. Anyone could say, "Me too," and add their name to first place. Yep, 38 seconds. But for me, it took 40 seconds. I wasn't alone. The previous record holder suffered from the same condition. Why? Nobody knew. In a heartwarming underdog story, I found a way to win despite my disability. The solution was simple. Delay the second update by pausing the game and use that. No one would pause in a speedrun, but I did, and it was faster. 36 seconds was totally beatable, but I was satisfied with knocking 3 people out of first place at once. 9 months later, the world's only professional RollerCoaster Tycoon player, Marcel Voss, started reaching out to top speedrunners about a video that would showcase our runs to 100,000 viewers. That's when the third little pig got to work. He got a time of 33 seconds and held the record for a matter of hours. But those were the hours that Marcel was making his video, which cut me out completely and gave ZG's all the credit for my strategy that he borrowed. I only made it in the video as a footnote for reclaiming the record. It's weird because looking at the title of the video, you'd think it was about my run of Tiny Towers. ZG's was so myopically focused on copying my strategy, he missed the obvious. I finished Diamond Heights in 27 seconds, but I couldn't go public with it yet. 27 seconds is the second park value update with no pausing. You see the problem, right? Have you been paying attention? ZG's would just take my strategy again and finish in 26 seconds. Why? Why is this game faster than mine? I had less than 4 days to figure it out before Marcel's video dropped. And I did. If you play on high resolution, the game runs slower. We all thought the small resolution was to make the buttons closer together. The game running faster was a hidden side effect. In a small window, I was able to finish in 25.7 seconds, 7 hours before Marcel's video would publish, which was too late. At least I'd locked down the record. The next day, ZG's uploaded a time that was 3 whole frames faster. Awesome. He thought I'd be mad. What? Okay, I would have been mad, but I went to his VOD, and he wasn't even trying to beat my run. He was just trying to tie it. Another me too first place. The supreme irony caused my emotional cortex to short circuit, rendering me incapable of anger. You know what else? On Volcania, ZG's actually stopped his clock when the last coaster got its rating, but apparently he had better things to do than check the forums, and he was the one getting emails when I set new records. I completed my mission to ruin speedrunning with unbeatable times. Then, because I got involved with Diamond Heights, I ended up revealing 2 different ways to beat all those records. There was one silver lining.